I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. And they win in Brighton against Manchester City, that team that suddenly has fallen off the planet. Has nothing to do with the court case pending in the 155 charges that no one knows about, even though they finished the court case in March and they haven't. It's like we're suddenly fading away from the limelight. And if we're not in the limelight, maybe no one will ask about those 6 Premier League titles and how we achieved them. But this little clip here, to me, shows all of modern football in a little sort of nutshell. And this is one of the problems a lot of teams are having, Man City especially. Watch this, as he goes, oh, I'm injured. It's not a foul, nowhere near a foul. And he's on the floor, crying like a baby, as his team gets counter-attacked on. There's no honesty. So when you've got no honour and no honesty, you're on the floor and you're not trustworthy as a player. So you're not going to fight hard for your team, work hard, do all those things that make you champions. You're just on the floor crying. Why? It's not a bad foul. It's not even a tackle. It's nothing. But now you've gone down like that. You put your team in a situation. Now they don't score from it, but they almost do. And it's showing the attitude of the team and the personnel that you've got around you. That it's okay to leave all your teammates hung out to dry because you're on the floor trying to buy a free kick that's not a free kick. And you know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Otherwise, the ref would have called it. Well, no, not necessarily. I completely take that statement back. That is not true. That is not true. But it's creeping in more and more into modern football. It really is. Also, speaking of modern football, just watch this a second, okay? Let's see how much of this I can play for you, right? So, there's some massive problems in the modern. Well, I'm not doing a live stream tonight, my 8 o'clock Monday night show, but I'm going to try to make up for it and do at least 2 this week, because I've got to talk about and get it out there about modern football players. And I know where all this is coming from. I have to explain it all. It'll take me a little while. But watch. This is his opportunity to win the football. He can make a mistake here and then recover because he's so far away from his goal. This is absolutely perfectly fine to make a mistake here. Because also, you might make the attacker make a mistake and lose the ball, lose possession by making a silly pass or doing something, right? He doesn't. He just backs away. He's giving him space to run into. You're in the opposing team's half. You can go and win the football. Just doesn't. Backs away. Now, here's the other part of that, right? The rest of his team doesn't realise what's going on. So, everybody else just runs away and allows this to attack to happen. Just completely not. He allows it to happen. Both players here are completely backed away. No one is challenging the football. If they had stepped up over here, okay, he wouldn't have been close enough to support. There wouldn't be a pass on because he would still be back there and he'd be on his own, isolated, and you could maybe win the football. But now, this is the other interesting part. There is no sort of awareness, right? He doesn't need to be going towards the ball. That's absolutely insane to me that he's going towards the football, right? He needs to be right there, getting away and starting to get his shape back and leave his teammate on the ball to deal with it and let everybody else come back. Right now, him stepping over, coming out of position over here, has opened up this whole middle of the field. Completely opened up the whole of the middle of the field for a simple pass in. Now, here's your next problem. Because we've backed away so much and given so much room here, because these defenders are just useless, now when he goes to step forward, there's too much ground for him to cover. He can't step forward. He's backed off too much. So the decision-making is insane to me that they just don't know what they're doing. They're backing off way, way, way too much, opening up the space. Now, when the space arrives and the ball gets played into it, now they're stepping into the space and opening up the space behind them. I mean, this is really, really bad levels of defending. Absolutely bad. And, of course, because he's now stepped up, boom, now the space gets played, the ball can get played in behind him. And he's begging for an offside instead of actually trying to play the ball. This whole clip sort of encompasses everything wrong with, well, not just Manchester City, but lots of modern football. Got a player down the other end crying for a foul that's not a foul. Someone crying for the referee for it to be offside. Players not knowing whether to back off, step up towards the ball or do what they're doing. And all of a sudden the other team's on the counter-attack. Not a great finish. Maybe could have done something a little bit more with it. But, yeah, overall, awful. You know, like I was pointing out, Man City weren't really holding their shape correctly because they had too many players around the ball and not enough people covering the middle where the players are completely... has it just happened again? It's like it's an epidemic in football. Now, if it happens in one team, okay. But if it's happening in 2 teams, then you know there's something going on with coaching. And I'll give you a little brief insight into it. Obviously, if you're been around the channel, you'll know I've been coaching for over 20-odd years. There's there's this systematic thing in football where people learn something new and then they teach them that and they forget all the other basics and fundamentals of what makes football teams good. And you can see that that's what's happening more and more in the Premier League plays. You can see it. They're doing silly things and they're forgetting the utter basic. You cannot have a man unmarked on top of your 18-yard box with 3 players around the ball here and one more guy completely unmarked. Now, this is just a case. This isn't a good goal, but you like these goals as a manager. You go, yeah, I'll take these. So what it basically is their team bundle the ball in the goal. They just get enough bodies and there's enough momentum pushing everything forward as it goes through. It's a scrappy goal and you're just fighting. Your team's fighting to get through and it gets in the goal. Great. Love that. It breaks. It's one of those things. If defensively you're not too fussed either, you're going, oh look, they just outfought us there. There's nothing really. It's just a bit of luck, which it is. The ball goes through players' legs, bit of a nutmeg. Next thing you know, Haaland's run on and tapped it into the net box, bump, because he's the quickest one to react. The only thing you would be worried about is that positional play at the start where you've got somebody on top of the 18-yard box completely free and you've got 3 players pressuring the ball, but no one's actually trying to win the ball. Yeah. Again, you've got another example of Brighton are in their own half. You can go towards the football, all right? It's all you need to do is go towards the football. Watch his body movement. Watch where he starts to run towards. Watch. Do you see him curve and run away from the football? Curves and runs away from the football, opening up the space. All he needs to do is slow his run down so he can get close to make a challenge, and he wants to make that challenge before the halfway line because then he's got time to get back up, recover, or do whatever he needs to do to actually try to put in a challenge. Right there, just jogging and running away. Now it gets even worse because you've got another player coming in and these 2 clowns run off with this player here and the guy with the football they could not care less about. Yeah, modern football. Oh, let me just point this out as well. Okay, so you've got the 2 players tracking the one, he's tracking the player through the middle, and the only important thing is the football. If all 3 of these players just step and go towards the football, both of these players are offside, you can't make the pass. They don't even understand this. Like, the simplest things in football are so complex now, people just have got no idea what they're doing. And it's because there's so much stuff to go over where they're taught through the academies, and the academies are following their pathway to the Premier League and all this other rubbish. But you can see in modern football, like, look, if they shouldn't be anywhere near these players. They should be right there pressuring the football. He'd be in all sorts of trouble. Wouldn't be able to play the pass. These players couldn't run past the football because these players wouldn't be playing them on side. And you've just got a completely different problem for the counter-attack. No, we're just going to run back, mark the player over here, hope that he's going to pass it instead of just making him make a decision that he's either going to beat you or play the players in that are offside. And no, they just can't even see it. On the biased TV media, I heard one clown saying, oh, they have to give it, even though it's not really a handball, because they gave the one at Fulham and Chelsea. This is nothing like the Fulham and Chelsea handball. The guy's got his arm up out here, trying to actually catch it as it's coming past him, and then it's whacked. Dump, there we go, dump. His arm is way away from his body. Clearly a handball. Look where his elbow is. It's not down by his side. It's not. No, his arm is in an unnatural position. For some reason, he's trying to catch the ball in mid-flight. There he is, trying to catch the ball in mid-flight. And then it hits his hand. I mean, it's blatantly a hand. I do like the fact that Jimmy Milner hasn't scored a goal. I think he said, 5 years, 6 years maybe in the Premier League. He's got Diego Jota's shirt on, shirt number, and he steps up and he scores a penalty. You've got to respect Jimmy Milner. Like, I can remember when he broke onto the scene when he was 17 at Leeds with Olivier Dacour and those guys, and in the Champions League and all sorts. That was just fun. They were a fun team to watch. They were just really, really entertaining. You don't get entertaining football teams anymore. You just don't. Dump sends a keeper the wrong way and goes off and does a Diego Jota celebration. And I do like that there's other players that weren't from Liverpool that are joining in on the Diego Jota celebration. I think it's going to become, something that people are still going to do in a couple of years' time because he did very distinctive celebrations, which was brilliant. Other teammates joining in as well. I think that's just really, really nice. With all the nonsense in football and it's nice to see that there's actual some humanity, and maybe I can believe in the world a little bit. No, you can't, Cash. Get back on your soapbox. When this ball's played, looking to get in behind here, just tell me what you see. Have a little look at the picture. Do you see it? Do you see what I see? 1, 2, 3, 4 Brighton players. 1, 2, 3 Man City players. No covering defenders. It's just a mess. You can't play like this. You just can't. You're away from home. You can't play football like this because you're going to get caught. And from a simple, the ball's been played out, knocked back in from just a header. But this is the problem when you just don't even have anyone near the ball. Right, one player there. One player can go near the ball. It's just going to be dropped, played, and he runs in and scores. And between 2 players, there's no single Man City player that can challenge these 2 players. None. Absolutely none. If you go down the corridor down the middle, like that, okay? There's the only player that can challenge for the ball, and he's on the wrong side, and he can't. If that's played first time, you're done. Game's over. Now, it's actually a poor pass down the middle. It really is. It kind of curves and bends away. Makes it really, really difficult for him to get onto the end of. It should have just been straight out in front of him for him to run onto. You can watch this little curved run here. Watch this. Do you see how he has to curve and go around? If it was a better played pass, he'd have been miles and miles and miles ahead. And he's not. It gives an opportunity for the defenders to come back in. And those are the little tiny details as a technical coach that are very important. Because if you get those little details right, you put yourself in a situation where even if you're not good enough, because the pass is right, it's dictated the run. Now you can finish the ball much easier just because, well, there's no one around you now. You haven't put your teammate in a bad situation where he's got to use extra pace, anything else, any other physicality things. He can just go in, do his job. But this is also concerning because he manages to sit the goalkeeper and the defender down with one simple little move and then tap the ball into the net box. Both players completely gone. I wouldn't want my keeper to come up that quickly. I wouldn't. He's run up too fast. The pace is way more important of how he's coming out. If he's coming out, that's fine. But if you're coming out that quick, that means you can be done with something like that because you're going to react at the same pace that you're coming out at. Taps it into the net box, gets himself a goal, and off they go for a victory. Well, Brighton's still one of those teams that's like, you never know what you're going to get. Honestly, you just don't know what you're going to get. At home, they're a bit of a force, but they can capitulate. They can do all sorts, Brighton. But we'll see. They should probably still be in the mid-table. I don't think they're going to push up to like the top 4, like in that sort of top 6 race like they were doing a couple of years ago. But we'll move it on. International break coming up. See you next time on Cash Talks Football.